by popular demand, I can't believe how many people have asked me to unbox this, the ASUS Rampage 3 Black Edition motherboard. So this is part of their Republic of Gamers brand. This is an X58, that is an LGA 1366 motherboard. It supports Core i7 Extremes, Core i7s, NVIDIA SLI, and ATI Crossfire. I think they mean AMD Crossfire, but the badge has yet to be updated. Let's go around to the back where we will find a couple of things. First, there's an ROG Thunderbolt. So that appears to be, I don't know, something. It looks like a sound card. So we'll get a little bit into that. It looks like it has external power, so that's got to have a headphone amp on it. We've got Bluetooth V3.0. Okay, we've got ROG Connect, which is their overclocking feature, which allows you to use another computer to plug into here and then alter overclocking settings, as well as Extreme Engine Digi Plus, which is their VRM solution. All right, everything else on here on the back is pretty straightforward, so why don't we go ahead and have a look at what is presumably a window into the future of motherboards. There's the Thunderbolt. Look at that, powered by Xonar, sorry. So we'll look at that more later, but let's have a look at what's in here. So first of all, we have a built-in headphone amp. Aha! Sound greater. Yeah, it will sound greater with a headphone amp, guarantee. What else do we have here? Okay, so it looks like some sort of processing chip. Okay, that's good. We have a dedicated NPU. So that's a Killer E2100. Really? Is that a full E2100? Wow. Cool. Okay, so there you go. You got a PCIe 1X Killer NIC. All right, Extreme Engine Digi Plus. Okay, analog and digital design elements combined for power. Okay, ROG Connect. We've already covered that. Bluetooth V3.0, so diverse and Wi-Fi enjoyment. New technology lifestyle. Excellent. Kaspersky antivirus. And that's pretty much it. So let's start opening this thing up. I'm actually excited about this because I did not even know that this product existed until I had like 300 billion requests to unbox it. All over my channel, all over my inbox. I even had some guy email me. And it's like, okay, don't know how you got my email, but like, thank you for requesting an unboxing in it. I'll see what I can do. Okay, here we are. Ooh, lots of accessories. Look at this. So we have a couple of Wi-Fi antennas. I remember these. I had one of these with my A8N32 SLI Deluxe. I think that's around the time they started shipping these Wi-Fi antennas with onboard Wi-Fi on their motherboards, and they stopped doing it for a while. All right, we've got a USB 2.0 and eSATA PCI bracket. Got a little chipset fan, which probably sounds horrible. Don't recommend using that in all likelihood. Okay, we've got an extension cable for USB. Okay, oh, or onboard or front panel audio, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what this is for. Okay, next we've got some SATA 3 cables, which are exactly the same as the 6 SATA 2 cables. So that's 2 SATA 3, 6 SATA 2 cables, except for the color. Okay. We've got the ROG Connect USB cable. So let me throw all these back in here. There we are. We've got a 3-way SLI bridge. We have a 2-way SLI bridge. We have a Crossfire bridge. Okay, we have their Q connector, which is for the front panel connectors, as well as one USB 2.0 header. Make it a little easier to plug in. We've got some zip ties. We have an I/O shield, some temperature probes, a user guide, Rampage 3 Black Edition. It's a heavy user guide. That's like thick. Look at that. Okay, and then we have an Intel chipset and support DVD, as well as a Republic of Gamers sticker. Throw away the DVD there. Ooh, look at this. Audio Precision Test Report. Thunderbolt powered by Xonar. So what's this? Disclaimer, the information and contents contained in the something, okay? So basically they're just showing it's really good. Cool, thanks guys. Okay, then we got a big old case sticker. And let's go ahead and put that back too. All right, motherboard time. Okay, Thunderbolt. Why don't we do the Thunderbolt a little bit later? Actually, give me 2 seconds here, guys. All right, so we're gonna have a look at the Thunderbolt powered by Xonar first. So this is a PCIe 1X combo card. It includes not only the LAN port, but also the Xonar aspects, which are the sound aspects of the very high-end LAN and sound solution that comes with this board. So you've got a SPDIF out, you've also got a line out and a line in. Okay, moving around, we've got a matte black PCB, and you can see right on the back here, you've got Rampage 3 Black Edition as well as your serial number information all on there. Okay, we've also got front audio out, which is right here. And at the back of the card, we've got a USB connection, which is evidently what that little USB extension cable was for. And then we've also got a Molex power connector. So that is going to provide power to the amplified audio out port. All right, let's have a look at the motherboard itself. So the first thing I notice about it, 3 guesses, guys. Matte black PCB, love it. Anything with a matte black PCB could be in my system, no problem, because matte black PCBs look awesome. Next thing I notice about this board is it has a non-standard layout. It is slightly wider than an ATX spec. An ATX board would normally end right about here. Okay, this one is just a little bit wide, so you don't need additional mounting holes. You don't need an eATX case, but you will need a little bit more width on the edge of your motherboard tray in order to install this board. So you can see it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in length or in height. So it's standard ATX height, but it's a little bit wide. All right, so let's start at the CPU socket right in the middle because that's a good place to start. As I mentioned before, that is an LGA 1366 socket. So that has full support for all the Core i7 Extremes, Core i7s on the LGA 1366 platform. Here we've got the PWM, which includes a very, very slick looking cooler. Okay, so there you go. There's some kind of NEC / token, however you pronounce that chip here, as well as 8 phases of their Digi Plus PWM. Actually, hold on, bear with me a moment. Yes, 8 plus 3 phase power. So what that means is we've got 8 higher quality phases as opposed to putting a ton of lower quality phases on this particular motherboard. That is the route ASUS has decided to go. Moving over here, we've got support for triple channel memory up to 6 DIMMs. So it uses ASUS's easy slots, so that means you only have to actually fasten the clip on the one side. You just slide it in the one side, put it in, and then you push the clip in like this. We've got a post LED indicator, so that'll give you post codes right there. We have start and reset switches on board. We've also got voltage checkpoints all down here, so we've got a couple grounds. We've got CPU, CPU PLL, QPI, IOH, IOH PCIe, ICH, ICH PCIe, and RAM. So that's actually more voltage checkpoints than I've seen on, I think, any other board. Here are the PCIe 16X switches. So you can actually use these to easily diagnose video cards. This feature, there have been times when I would have pretty much done anything for this feature, because when you install, don't turn the camera sideways like that. When you install a couple of video cards and they're, you know, they got full cover liquid cooling blocks on them, and you're trying to figure out, okay, you have a video problem. Is the bottom card dead? The easiest way to find out would be to go like this. Turn off your top slot, boom, all of a sudden that's your primary PCIe slot. Now you can find out if that card's dead or if it's something else that's wrong with your system. So it's great for troubleshooting. They've also got this button, which is for making sure that the system will post 100%, no problem, with any memory, no matter what the spec is. 24-pin power here. We've got also a USB 3.0 front panel header. So you can use that on any new case that supports a USB 3.0 front ports via a header. We've also got storage here. So we've got 6 SATA 2 3 gigabit per second as well as 2 SATA 3 6 gigabit per second ports. We've got a pretty sweet looking Southbridge heatsink, which has ASUS branding on it. It's got kind of a matte black finish. The entire board almost is black other than a couple little red accents, which look really good. Dual BIOS right here. You can see we've got 2 dedicated BIOS chips, couple front USB ports, front panel switches, as well as a BIOS clear switch right here. There's a ton of 4-pin PWM fan connectors. I'll count them in a minute, but there just seems to be a ton on this board. We've got a Molex easy plug here. So that's if you're loading this up with graphics cards, you might need to provide some auxiliary power to prevent your 24-pin connector from burning out, from providing all that juice all through the board. Okay, we've got front audio connector on the motherboard itself as well, using X-Fi 2 Supreme FX. So if you don't want to use the Thunderbolt card, you still have pretty decent onboard audio, which is kind of cool. Okay, so that's your that's that. You also have pretty decent onboard Ethernet, so they're using the Intel Ethernet as opposed to a third-party chip for the onboard Ethernet as well, if you don't want to use the killer E2100 that comes on the Thunderbolt card. So let's have a look at what we've got. Oh yeah, I promised to count the 4-pin PWM fan connectors. Oh, one more other thing that I haven't shown yet too is it has 2 PCIe 8-pin connectors, or PCIe, 2 CPU EPS 8-pin connectors up here, so you're going to need to access those from the top. Probably one of them is optional, but providing both will give you potentially more current to the CPU sockets. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, just zoom out so you can see where these are. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 4-pin PWM fan connectors all over this motherboard. Craziness. Oh yeah, here's where that fan goes on the North Bridge heatsink. So that's where I mentioned there was a red accent there, so you can bolt that fan on there and get a little bit of additional cooling if you are using water cooling or some other kind of cooling that doesn't provide any incidental airflow to the North Bridge heatsink. All right, so let's have a look at the back, where we will find our Bluetooth 3.0 as well as wireless LAN 802.11bgn. There's also another reset switch up here. That's a very peculiar place for it. All right, and an additional one here. You're kidding me. Oh yeah, okay, well, there's a clear CMOS switch there. Okay, we've got one of those PS2 mouse keyboard combo ports. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 USB 2.0 ports here on the back. We have 2 USB 3.0 ports, 2 eSATA ports. We have our ROG Connect button as well as the USB port for that, the Intel LAN that I mentioned before, as well as the creative X-Fi 2 Supreme FX sound that I mentioned before. So this is a decked out motherboard. There is no doubt about it. We've also got some additional heat sinkery going on the back here for the PWM, as well as the standard LGA 1366 backplate. All of the heat sinks on the front are attached via screws, which is nice because they can't come out like push pins. Also means if you need to take them off and put them back on, you don't risk damaging the push pins, making it impossible. Thank you for checking out my unboxing of the Rampage 3 Black Edition from ASUS. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos. So I did have to RTM for a couple of these things. First of all, there is an LN2 mode jumper over here, and that, along with the Q reset button over here, which actually stops power to the CPU to allow you to recover from a non-posting state when you are using liquid nitrogen, is some of the extreme overclocking features that we have on this here particular board. There's also a jumper for load line calibration on the QPI. Okay, we also have, we also clarified what this guy down here does. This is a BIOS switch, so you can actually switch between these 2 BIOS chips here on the board, and I think that's pretty much all that we wanted to cover here.